Dana Prophet says the freshly baked bread at her East Passyunk gem should go viral. For surprising Dutch cuisine, she heads to Noord.
Noord is kind of a traditional Dutch restaurant, so it's a kind of a modern take on traditional grandmother cooking, but Dutch style. We do a lot of fresh fish. We have cured herring. We do 3 different smoked fish every day, whether it's smoked scallops or smoked salmon or smoked cod. But we also do very traditional dishes like konijn in het zoer, which means rabbit in the sour or rabbit in the acid. We have lekkerbekje on snert, not always, but often. It's a piece of fried cod or haddock on top of pea soup, which is cooked twice with smoked sausage and bacon and caraway in there. So it's a little bit different, but a lot of people think it's going to be a little stranger than it actually is. When they arrive, they're like, "Oh, this is like home cooking," and that's kind of what we want it to be. There's a Dutch word called gezelligheid, which means kind of a comfort. So I think what we're best at, not that everybody can do good food, but good food is not the end all be all in a restaurant. We like to welcome you when you walk in the door, welcome you when you sit down, when you're leaving. We'll chase you out to say goodbye if we miss you. That we just want people to know that we feel appreciated, that they're here, and just kind of leave with a warm feeling. That matters a lot to everybody who works here.
Dana, tell us why you picked Noord.
I went there as a whim, and I fell in love with it. From the bread to the dessert and everything in between, absolutely delicious, and best of all, it's a BYOB.
You started this last meal with bitterballen. How were they?
The bitterballen was delicious. It was something I wasn't expecting. I try to do things different on the menu when I go to different restaurants because I'm a creature of habit. So glad I took a risk. It was absolutely delicious.
And tell us more about this bread, because you're really all about this bread.
The bread, I always have a love for any place that makes the bread in-house. This bread is different from any other bread I've ever had. It's soft, but a little crisp, and it's just waiting for butter.
It's
do not
so
be,
good.
yeah, do
So
not be still. See? Yeah. Luckily, you can. If you want to fight over the bread, just order more. A fight will break out. The food is delicious.
When we went, it was I think fennel seed bread, and my wife isn't a big fennel fan, so I got
more bread for you.
More bread.
Yeah. It was also fennel bread with a garlic butter when I went, and for one of the dishes that we ordered, the server actually brought more because he was like, "You're going to want to basically drink this sauce with the bread." So yeah,
I had the mussels, and you need the bread for dipping.
Yeah,
so you can't. You gotta waste not, want not.
How are the mussels? Talk more about the mussels.
Superb. So fresh. We're based in Philadelphia, but you can taste the ocean. It was that delicious.
Was there a special type of sauce that was served alongside of it?
It was the broth from the seafood. In fact, my sister, who I ate with, she was eyeballing. I'm like, no, scoot. You eat your chicken thighs, which were also delicious.
Oh, yeah, she got the winter dinner, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were doing a standoff. Like, okay, you can try some, but you can't have any. So when I go again, I'm definitely getting the chicken thighs. But the mussels, perfect.
Nina, you started your meal with the herring sliders. How were they?
They were really good. Very traditional kind of Scandinavian fare, right? Is pickled fish, pickles. It was basically just a pickle sandwich on a potato roll. I had no issue with that.
Pickles extraordinary?
They were delicious.
Because I was expecting pickles.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you could tell the freshness from the pickles.
Yeah.
It's neat, like different kinds of pickles. I think I had pickled peaches for the first time.
Wow.
I had those as well
and
on
it
the
was
cod.
just, like,
I missed out.
exciting.
Yeah, they were delicious, and we paired them with some grilled prawns that still had the head on. They were in that sauce that the server was like, definitely sop this up. It was unbelievable. So all of the appetizers were delicious.
A lot of appetizers.
Yeah, we might have overdone it a little bit.
That's the place to do it.
Yeah. There were too many things that sounded good, so I had to try as much as possible.
Andy, how was the kibbeling?
It was delicious. It came on top of a frisee salad, and it's a white fish. I'd never heard of it called kibbeling, but it's almost like a tempura battered white fish with a nice sauce underneath. Super yummy, great way to start the meal.
You got the cod as well with the pickled peaches.
Well, my wife got the cod, but I made sure I snuck a couple peaches and a bite
have
off
to
of her
share.
plate too.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you're married.
Yeah, most of the time it's her taking off of my plate, but I get even when I can.
But you got the PA trout, the Pennsylvania trout.
It was
How
delicious.
was it?
The skin was super crispy. It had a frisee salad, heirloom tomatoes, and again, like interesting pickles. There was I think it was red beet pickled onions, and then another pickled root vegetable. So it was just a unique dining experience for the South Philly food scene.
Was this a recommendation from your waiter?
Well, I have to say, our waiter might have been the best server I've had in recent memory. I tend to be sometimes a fluffhead, so running late for our reservation, I forgot a bottle of wine, and he reminded me that right around the corner you can get a little bottle of wine to go. And so sure enough, we ran over, grabbed a bottle of rosé, and continued on with our meal without a hitch.
I hear, Nina, I believe you had the same server, Lewis.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, man.
he
is
was spectacular.
top notch.
I've been to a lot of restaurants. I've worked with a lot of industry people. He was top notch. Like from the moment we sat down to the moment that we left, he was flawless.
It feels
And-
like you're sitting in his
Exactly.
kitchen, and he's just funny
And he was the only
charismatic.
server on the floor when I went to Noord. It was just him working with 2 chefs, so it felt very comfortable, very casual. He adjusted to things very quickly. When he got a larger walk-in party, he just quickly and quietly rearranged a table for a different reservation.
excellent.
It was just no fuss about anything. He was so easygoing and excellent. You were talking about going to the bottle shop to grab a bottle of wine. I actually did the same thing.
I was prepared.
Yeah.
You knew it. You knew what we were getting into.
Well, I knew the bottle shop was there, and they always have a really good selection at that particular one. But what I think is great about Noord being a BYOB, aside from getting to choose your own wine and the cost being a little less, is that you can do a cocktail before or after. There's so many bars in that area.
Yes.
Townsend, ITV, Manatawny, all of these really great cocktail spots.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to go without if you're like, I would love a Manhattan right now.
Or a little after dinner drink.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you're a little early for your reservation, you
Stop
can
in
walk
somewhere.
around.
Exactly.
Yes, I like
Yeah.
Coffee
that.
martinis across the street at Fond.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Fond
are-
has a great bar as well. Thanks for
Yeah.
reminding me. Yeah.
Yes.
The atmosphere in the Passyunk neighborhood is just awesome, quintessential South Philly.
It's so vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many different kinds of cuisine and so many places that, walking down the street, you're like, oh, I haven't been there yet. I gotta check that out at some point. And
Yeah.
actually, Noord was a place like that for me. It was my first visit there. I'll definitely be back.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I love that place.
I loved it.
I
Yeah.
loved it. It's just delicious. And my sister's a little hesitant because she's like, what? I'm
Yeah.
afraid. She's like, I love this place. I'm like, she said, Dana, I was afraid. I'm like, I wouldn't lead you wrong.
I was hesitant too, just because I didn't really know the cuisine very well, and I looked at the menu online, and it looked really interesting, but I think I was still a little apprehensive. And then as soon as I sat down, that apprehension went away. Yeah.
It's just so cool. It's something you don't typically find in South Philly.
Dana, did you leave room for dessert?
Yes, I did. I had a toffee and chocolate dessert. Perfect way to close. I enjoyed it very much. It was delicious with the coffee. You gotta have the coffee.
Nina, you got some coffee as well.
I did. I could not possibly have done a single further bite of food after the meal that I had, but we shared a pot of French press. It was a really nice way to close out the meal.
Yes.
It was a handwritten menu, and it said like Sweet John's on it, and I was like, oh, I love that.
Very
What a nice
Philly,
touch.
yes.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, because the first thing had like lingonberries in it, which I know is a Scandinavian
Yes.
fruit, but yes, Sweet John's was just the title of the dessert menu, and I loved that.
Dana, Noord is your pick. Sum it up for us.
I know the Philadelphia area isn't used to Nordic cuisine, but I suggest you go. It's something for everyone. It's fun, friendly service, and amazing, amazing food.
Andy, sum it up for us.
Unique South Philly dining experience with fish-forward menu and great, excellent service. Lewis is the man.
Nina, sum up your experience at Noord.
Yeah, inventive but approachable food, great service from Lewis, and killer location.
Travel to the Netherlands without leaving South Philly at Noord, located at 1046 Tasker Street in Philadelphia, 267-909-9704. They're open for dinner Wednesday through Sunday and brunch on Sundays as well. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $45.